Bradenton, Florida, the perfect site for the 2024 Generation Adidas Cup. It has been over a week of a feast of the best youth soccer in the world, and we have reached our final point. The LA Galaxy against the Philadelphia Union for a chance to win the title of the 2024 Generation Adidas Cup. David Goss, Ricky Lopez has been with you as we take a look down the road of how these two teams got here. For the LA Galaxy, it was a Cali Classico just to get to this point in the semifinals. Alvarenga creating space, Ricky Moreno, his team leading 5th goal, and then Gabriel Arnold. He had an assist and an Olympico to seal the deal for this LA side. On the other side for the Philadelphia Union, it has been a battle, and they outlasted Flamengo. The excellence of Diego Rocio was enough to put them over the top. Jameer Johnson with the assist. And the Philadelphia Union beat what many considered the favorites in Flamengo just to get to this point. And now 2 big changes to the starting lineup for this final.
It's going to be Master Demos. He's going to pop right in front of that back line and be that single pivot. But the player that everyone is talking about, Kevin Sullivan, number 11, as the withdraw number 10. Look for him to get on the ball, ask questions. He can beat you 1v1. He can beat you through combination play. If number 11 is on the ball early and out for the Union, it's going to be a very good day for Peter McDonald and the Union side.
Center back number 4, Neil Pierre, one of the favorites right now for potential MVP of this tournament. This is a loaded Philadelphia Union team, but no lack of talent for this LA Galaxy squad. Only 2 changes to their lineup from yesterday's semifinal win.
4-3-3 is the way that they're going to set up, but make no mistake about it, the fluidity that they want to play with. Vanny, he's going to be a work rate on both sides of the ball. Shakir's on the right-hand side. Arnold, that single pivot, look for him to get comfortable, and then it all comes down to that front 3. Albert, Moreno, and Dunbar. The ability to be direct and challenge the shape of the Union is going to be a really interesting 70 minutes of football here. David Goss, really excited for this one.
That young man, Kevin Sullivan, returning from his red card suspension in the semifinals. It is a clash of styles. It's a clash of coasts, and it is going to be an intense one. It's going to be a tense one. It's the one we've been waiting for all week. It's the one these teams have been waiting for all year. The Philadelphia Union and their all blue kits going left to right, get us started. The LA Galaxy and the classic white kits going right to left on your screen. 35-minute halves, a 70-minute match here in the Generation Adidas Cup final. In the IMG Academy and on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. David Goss and Ricky Lopez has been with you. Excited for this match. The crowd here to support their squads. We've got the U15 groups. For these age groups, we have seen crowds flock to these big games here on Field 1. We've also seen crowds flock to watch Kevin Sullivan play. The young man talked about by Jim Curtin over the last few weeks, over the last few years, and he's still just 14 years old.
It's going to be really interesting to see how these young men really deal with the occasion. The message for Sean Shaqiri and Peter McDonald is going to be play the game, don't play the occasion. So who's going to settle into this game? First 5 minutes, how comfortable can you be on the ball?
Owen Pratt, one of the 2 changes to the lineup from the semifinal for the Galaxy. He's behind Pepe and Kike, the 2 center backs for this LA team as the Galaxy build through Philadelphia's pressure. Arnold not able to keep the ball. Gustavo Gonzalez, the starting left back, trying to help win it back. Harbor Miller, the starting right back in this game. As it was Adam Dunbar trying to chase away the midfield 3 of Dylan, Vanny, Mateo Tsikiris, and Gabriel Arnold. One of the big strengths in this team. Adam Dunbar, a goal in the last game on the right side. Mati Albert, a goal against Monterrey earlier in the tournament on the left side. And Ricky Moreno, currently tied for the Golden Boot in this GA Cup. So if he scores one today, he will most likely win that award. And even better for him would be to win this trophy for his squad. Diego Rocio, he was quiet up until 2 days ago. He has 4 goals in the last 2 games, 2 off the bench against Hajduk Split, 2 in the start against Flamengo, as this shot comes in off the volley from the captain, Anis Saidi. His front runner partner, Kevin Sullivan, at the point of the diamond in the attack. Jameer Johnson and Henry Bernstein, the shuttlers, ahead of Zach Mostradimos, who also returns from yellow card accumulation suspension in the semifinal. And a back 4 of Lennon Harrington, Neil Pierre, Gavin DeHart, and Jordan Griffin ahead of Gavin Atkinson, as Steph McFarland, our central referee calls the first foul.
And it's going to be very interesting, David, the way that this LA Galaxy is trying to build out of the back. You talked about that narrow diamond that the Union like to play with. That's Master Demos. It's going to stay on an island. Moreno, the spearhead attacking player for the Galaxy, he's actually going to be part of the build-up. So how do you pull that single pivot, make him chase? It's going to be really interesting to see how the Galaxy exploit the tactical matchup here.
Arnold wearing the captain's armband was phenomenal against San Jose. It is going to be a tough one, as you said, for him and his partners in midfield. Philadelphia stepping off a little bit as they let the center backs knock it around. Now Vanny coming and finding the space. Dylan Vanny flying forward, his twin brother on the bench for this one. Sullivan brings it down. Now Bernstein into space. Bernstein now charging forward. He plays it in to the path of Sullivan. His brother Quinn started last night in MLS. Kevin Sullivan putting pressure on the defense. And the slide tackle from Pepe puts it out. Harrington steps forward to take the throw in. Harrington inserted into the starting lineup in the knockout stages. Came off the bench to help beat John Book Hyundai Motors with an assist, and has stayed in the starting lineup as this one's flicked on from Kike at the far post. Griffin will run it down. Griffin's cross played in and right onto the hands of Owen Pratt.
Good early start for the Union. Just see how expansive they want to be in terms of the fluidity on the front line. Kevin Sullivan has the freedom to just go and search the game, whether it's on wide areas, whether it's on central locations. Watch out here.
Arnold under pressure, turned over, and the foul called against Philadelphia.
How clean can the center backs be for the Galaxy at breaking this initial pressure, because you know it's going to come. So decision making needs to be spot on. Don't want to try to overcomplicate things. Nothing wrong with playing direct into your front line and gaining some real estate and winning those second balls higher up the field.
Sean Sakiris, the head coach for this U17 group, said he chatted with Greg Vanny, the head coach of the first team, moments ago. And he said he's behind this group, proud of the work they've done, not just this week, but over the last few years as the Galaxy have had to really rebuild their academy. They were the first to have a two-team, the first to sign a homegrown. They were pushing out of what is one of the great soccer markets. It had stalled over the last few years. Now trying to reset things. We see Jalen Neal in the first team. Marcus Vercranis as well. Of course, Mauricio Cuevas coming back to the club. So starting to see its effect and starting to feel it here. And this is their first GA Cup final in 10 years since 2014.
Also won MLS Next Cup as well. So they're accustomed to winning. This side is extremely confident in their ability. To deal with a very dangerous set piece as Bernstein stamps over this one. He's aiming for right between that 6-yard box on penalty mark, which calls chaos in front of Pratt in the goal mouth of the Galaxy.
This is just Bernstein's third start of the tournament. He will look to play this one in. Curled in, headed away by Vanny. Albert gets the first touch to the second ball. DeHart sprays it wide, and it will fall for Sullivan. Sullivan looking for the path of Saidi. And that one rolls out. You mentioned last year, U17 MLS Next Cup champions, the LA Galaxy. They beat Philadelphia on the road to that win in the quarterfinals. It was a different group for Philadelphia, but a similar one for the LA Galaxy. And the pressure now coming. Rocio brings the press, and the foul will go against him as Pepe went down.
Once again, you just see the pressure from the Union as they press in unison, try to force a turnover higher up the field. So how do you bypass that initial pressure? Because there is going to be real estate to operate in for the Galaxy. But so far, not clean enough. Got bailed out by some fouls.
Ricky Moreno dropping in, not able to keep possession. Now he picks it up. Moreno starting as the center forward, but we've seen Vanny play up there as a center forward. We've seen Dunbar do it as well. So there's a lot of ability for rotation in this Galaxy attack. Miscommunication, it's turned over to Pierre. Mostradimos now straight up the middle to Saidi. And the layoff can't find a teammate, and Kike stepping forward gets called for the foul. And the first yellow card of the game will go to the left center back, it's Pepe.
Just see how physical this game and how tightly contested it's being called. So if you're a player, good opportunity to learn how to deal with different adversities that you're going to face. Once again, Bernstein has a plethora of options.
We saw two red cards in our last game. We saw a red card in the Toulouse game, our U17 final, losing to Valencia. It's a lot of time in these high-intensity moments to play on a yellow card, and both these teams' players are going to have to be careful.
It's not what you want if you're Sean Securis. Left-sided center back on a yellow card. Big test for his discipline and his positioning for the remainder of this game.
It's just a two-man wall in front of Bernstein. Bernstein now clips it to the far post, aiming for Pierre. He gets tripped up and it'll roll out. But we have seen Philly shift from trying to get Pierre on goal every free kick to trying to get him out wide and heading it back across danger. The old Pierre already debuted in MLS Next Pro, was in Morocco just over a week ago with the U17 national team, has played every single minute of this tournament for the Union. DeHart against Dunbar, DeHart with the header. Moreno charging down on Griffin, who skies it into the attacking third.
It's going to be very important, David, for the Galaxy. If they do elect to play direct, you have to play it away from Pierre. A player that was so good against Flamengo, won every 50-50 ball, every aerial duel. The physical presence of the young center back. If you play away from him, you take the game away from him, you can win second balls higher up the field. So that's when I do think Ricky Moreno comes into play. His positioning, number 10 in white, is going to be really key for the breakout phase of the Galaxy.
Bernstein trying to sneak that one into the path of Johnson, making the run off the wing. Gonzalez now. A mistake playing out of the back. Sullivan with space, lays it off for Johnson. Closed down by Miller, and Arnold wins it back. Harrington immediately trying to counter press. Blue jerseys everywhere. Sullivan comes away with it. Sullivan 1v1. Clip to the far post. It's over the head of Rocio. Mastrodemus picks up the second ball, and Miller clears it away for the Galaxy. Not much time to breathe for the LA Galaxy players early on in this one. The Union, as expected, starting on that front foot.
They want to cause chaos. They want to keep this thing narrow. So if you're the Galaxy, the players on the wide areas, Albert and Dunbar need to provide a little bit of an option and support to play out of and relieve the pressure. It's been all one-way traffic for the Union 11 minutes in.
The Galaxy staff said, we have to play our style if we want to win. If it becomes a track meet, the Union have the advantage. So trying to measure that needs with the pressure you're dealing with. It's going to be tough for these young players. It's all about, as we've talked about all week, finding solutions for these young players on the fly. Pepe slips it into the feet of Arnold. One player who's never going to be panicked in possession. Gabriel Arnold, wearing the captain's armband, had an assist off a corner kick yesterday and then scored an Olympico to seal the deal as he finds space between the lines. Beats Mastrodimo, still on the dribble is Arnold. Pierre steps forward and he takes it off the LA Galaxy midfielder. And now Johnson chasing over the top. Kike gets a foot to it and skies it away.
Those are the kind of passes that you want from your center back, right down the middle of the field into Arnold. And as he skips by Mastrodemus, you just see the real estate ahead of the ball for the Galaxy. But how do you keep finding those little gaps and half spaces?
Bernstein once again will take it. We've seen him try and loop every ball in so far onto the head of Pierre. Pierre, part of the scrum on the lower side of your screen, alongside Sullivan and Harrington. Clipped in once again, and that one too long for Pierre.
And he's always going to be the intended target, like you said, David. And it's a secondary action that can hurt you. As he gets on the first ball, he's going to head it back into a trafficked area. So if you are an LA Galaxy player or a Philadelphia Union player, your reaction, how quick can you be getting on the second phase that can hurt teams?
Galaxy now building out once again. Pepe goes across his box. Johnson steals it. Sekiris clears. And now Miller back into the feet of Arnold. Composure there from the youth national team fullback Harbor Miller. And now the Galaxy are off and running. Moreno, the leading goal scorer, into the attack. Slips between defenders and can't find space to get a shot away. The Galaxy show their quality once they break through that pressure. And the foul now against Sullivan.
We've said you break that initial line of the Union, there is real estate to operate in higher up the field. As Moreno elects to come into the interior.
Taken quickly here, Albert puts it across, and no one there for the Galaxy to put it home.
Once again, it's a really good action for the Galaxy. Moreno tries to go on his preferred left foot. Just not on the same page with him and Vanny. And I do think Vanny's going to be a really important player for the success for the Galaxy. The spaces that he picks up, whether it's higher, whether it's lower, he can be a wild card for the California side.
So now the Galaxy able to play higher up the field here and puts them pressure themselves on this Philadelphia team.
So it's so important for Peter McDonald and his boys. If you do elect to press high, that back line needs to stay compact with that midfield line. You don't want to have about 10 to 15 yards between lines because the Galaxy can hurt you.
The Galaxy have faced some top competition already in this tournament. Their group stage was loaded. 3-1 win against Red Bull to open up the tournament. 1-1 draw and a shootout victory over Monterrey put them on 5 points, and a 2-0 win over Orlando helped them seal the top of the group. Red Bulls and Orlando coming in as early favorites. They then knocked off River Plate, the most successful team in GA Cup history, in the round of 16. They beat SKC 1-0, and then San Jose 3-0 yesterday here on this field to seal their spot in this championship match. They won't be rattled by what the Union can present. Gonzalez floats that one up between the two center backs. Pierre will handle it and head it back. All eyes on this match. The stands packed, the fence around us filled with fans, spectators, other MLS and international players who want to see who will stand at the top. As Sullivan puts this in, Bernstein taps a touch, and it's cleared away by Kike. A moment of brilliance there from Sullivan. Bernstein not able to finish it off. Now Harrington's cross is blocked. Albert coming back to help defend. Vanny's able to win it back. Vanny trying to cut past Mastrodemus. Philly back in possession. Mastrodemus battling away deep into the corner. Gonzalez surrounded by blue jerseys, and a Union player puts it out.
It's a good early ball from Sullivan. It's a nightmare for a defensive unit when you're facing towards your own goal. And Bernstein does very well to advance himself from a deep lying position. Tries to go back across where it comes from, and unable to get any clear contact on the ball. And Kike, last-ditch defending effort, but you just see how explosive this Union side can be. 2 passes, and there you're attacking 18-yard box.
Now Vanny back the other way. Albert pulls it all the way back. Sekiris switches the field. Miller gets his shot away, and it's rising over the crossbar.
And it's a clever little reverse ball from Sekiris. Everyone thinks he's going to pull up and have a strike. And we've seen this young man, Miller, as an outside back, how decisive you need to be at your timing to pick and choose your time when you join the 18-yard box. Unable to get it up and down. Hard to see both of these sides settle into this game.
Harbor Miller voted MVP of the MLS Next Cup U17 final last year. Rocio slides it across to Bernstein. Bernstein out wide for Sullivan. Sullivan now cuts past his defender, floats it to the far post, but it's well high. So for anyone asking, MLS Next Cup is the final national championship of MLS Next. league that's comprised of all the MLS academies at the youth ranks, plus the top clubs from around the United States. They play as a league all year, and next cup is the final of that. GA Cup here is all MLS academies plus select international clubs. 15 clubs from 4 different continents were invited across the U15, U17 levels. Valencia from Spain won the U15 championship. Flamengo from Brazil was the last standing in the U17 ranks from the international sides. The Union won this tournament at this age group last year, but most of this group for Philly played in the U15s, where they lost in a shootout to Austin in the final, and this year they want to get themselves over that line.
A little bit of a motivation factor for the Philadelphia Union. You do so well to get yourself to this opportunity. This is why we play the game. We play the game to win. So Hoist Hardware at the end of this thing, between you and 70 minutes, write your name in history. What an opportunity this is for these young group of players to make memories that will last a lifetime.
Atkinson blasts this long. Rocio flicks it on. If the Union win this, they would be just the third MLS club. Sorry, the second MLS club to win 3 GA Cup titles. DC United has done that. Their first win was under a manager named Jim Curtin over a decade ago. He's done pretty well for himself since then.
I'd say so.
And of course the win last year. Galaxy able to play through the pressure again. Miller now in space against Griffin. And Griffin's able to hold up 1v1.
Really good individual defending from Griffin. We've seen how tricky Miller can be. When he takes that long touch, that's when you pounce in. That's when you step in, just like Kike just did there. I do think if you are the Galaxy, you bring both players down, your center midfielders. That's when you're having the most success to break through the pressure. The Union, they want to congest the middle of the field. They want to force turnovers. They want to play narrow. They want to play central. So how do you unbalance their shape is going to be the key for the Galaxy.
Saidi spins on Gonzalez, the captain. Bowled over there. And something to watch out for. Pepe already sitting on a yellow card. So a dangerous moment from the Galaxy center back.
Yeah, needs to be very careful, Pepe. He comes in, gets a lot of Saidi. Would not been a surprise. That would have been a foul. But Saidi is a player that European McDonald. You need to get him on the ball a little bit more. Been extremely quiet 21 minutes into this match.
Philadelphia showing a little bit of lighter pressure right now. The 2 center backs linking up, and now Kike chooses to blast it long. DeHart comes over to clear it away. Gavin DeHart has started at center back and at fullback. He has started every single game in this tournament as Pierre cleans up the throw-in. There's no one in the world of soccer who loves to force a throw-in for an opponent more than the Philadelphia Union. We'll see throughout this game when they get a little more riled up, the screams, the emotion when they force the other team into a throw-in. Miller rolls this one back. Galaxy now a chance to play a little bit in the attacking third. Arnold picks it up through the lines. Early ball over the top. Albert coming off the shoulder. A chance here for Albert, and a shot saved by Atkinson.
Talked about the ability to be direct from Albert. Just calmly slots in on the blind side. Loops his run to keep himself onside, and it's a blind ball from Arnold just over the top. But as Pierre is in emergency defending, he just enough to send Albert wide. And Atkinson closes down the angle. Good goalkeeping from the Union goalkeeper.
Bernstein here for the path of Rocio. Rocio gonna get the cross away, plays it back for Bernstein. Early ball played in. Johnson and Sullivan are there, and it's played away by Arnold. These two teams battling at the top of the 18. Moshadimos putting his body on the line. Bernstein's shot is blocked. A rocket off of the foot of Henry Bernstein. And the LA Galaxy backline continuing to stand up to the pressure. Big switch here for Johnson. Now for Sullivan, and Sullivan can't keep it under control.
See the frustration on Sullivan's face. He wants that ball into space so he can run onto it. Just ties him up, Johnson, as he tried to play his feet. He's running with the full head of steam. You start to see the quality from both of these sides flexing their muscle in the attacking phase of this game.
Ricky, you have to say, as this ball comes over the top, Dunbar's over to Chase, Atkinson clears it. Who would you say has been happier with this opening 22 or so minutes so far between the two coaching staffs?
It's a tough one, a really tough one. I do think as the LA Galaxy start to figure out kind of how to break the press, they've been a little bit more dangerous. But the Union, with the talent that they have, especially on the front line, they can turn this game in a blink of an eye. It takes one opportunity, half a yard for a player like Saidi. We've seen Rocio not need too much space to hurt you. And as well, the star boy, Kevin Sullivan. Difficult question, putting me on the spot there.
I think Philly came out. I think they affected the game they wanted, way you wanted, and I think you're right. In that 23 minutes in, the Galaxy have created solutions to break Philly's pressure, and they've yet to concede, and now they've looked more and more dangerous. But the reality of it is they're in the final for a reason. This game's going to be tight the whole way through. 35-minute half, so 10 minutes of regular time left to play in this first. Bernstein once again will set up to take this free kick. Pierre's going to be the big target, but we saw Harrington assist Jameer Johnson's winner against John Book Hyundai Motors on a set piece as well. Johnson now comes close. Philadelphia goes short. Back for Bernstein. Bernstein curls this to the far post. Pratt gets a hand to it and punches it away.
It's really confident goalkeeping for Pratt. Nice little ball to the back post from Bernstein. As a goalkeeper, how decisive can you be coming off your line with the traffic oncoming? You want to punch it up and away, and Pratt does just that. Exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of bodies in front of him.
Ball thrown in. Onto the end line. Griffin now. His cross is deflected. Bernstein brings it down. Laid off for Mastrodimos. Space here for Rocio. And Arnold scoops it away. Sullivan onto the run of Griffin. Griffin couldn't get his first touch right. But now Philadelphia, they've turned the screws. They've pushed this Galaxy side deeper. Pierre with the strike. It's deflected away, and Johnson will let it roll out for a throw in deep in the corner.
Maybe he can add that into his game, stepping into that middle third.
Excuse me, a corner kick coming up.
And being the ability to break lines, whether it's shooting from distance, but also the passing from the big center back. He's going to be a luxury to have. Pierre.
Pierre got all of that shot. We have not seen him do much of that. He did score a goal in the win against Vancouver. Philly coming from behind to get out of the group as Bernstein drives that one in. The Union, with their backs against the wall, trailed 1-0 after 3 minutes against the Whitecaps in the third group stage game after losing 2-0 to FC Cincinnati in their opening group stage game. It put their hopes of continuing in this tournament on the ropes early on, but they came from behind. They beat Vancouver 4-1. They had a 55th minute winner against John Book Hyundai Motors. They exploded to a 3-0 lead against Hajduk Split in their quarterfinal match. And they knocked off Flamengo 2-0, a goal either side of halftime from Rocio. DeHart stepping through and clearing it away.
It'll be very important for the LA Galaxy as well to pick up your head and go out the other way. Changing the point of attack against this narrow defensive unit, which is the Philadelphia Union. It's going to be the best way to unbalance them. Start to see, like you said, David, start to find real-time solutions for these young players, how to deal with different looks and different types of pressure.
Gonzalez into some space, closed down by Johnson. Now Pepe. Miscommunication between him and Gonzalez. Harrington immediately takes the throw in quickly. Rocio gets behind the back line. Rocio, a San Diego native himself, so familiar with a lot of these players. Not able to keep that one in play. And how special was he yesterday, Ricky, on a day where Kevin Sullivan unavailable? Who was going to bring the offensive spark? You knew what you get from Saidi. Who was going to step up? And Rocio, excellent in that match.
And he's such an important player because you have players like Sullivan, like Saidi, that take so much attention, right? So that leaves real estate for Rocio to do his work. And the way he took his goals were spectacular, so exceptional. I do think he's going to have something to say as he's on the ball here in this final.
On the ball once again, the foul going against Pepe. He's got to be careful. Sitting on a yellow card right now. It'll be another free kick. We saw Bernstein from a similar area loop it to the far post. We saw Rocio place a free kick into the top corner yesterday against Flamengo from a little closer in. And Bernstein now over this one. All 11 players back to defend for the Galaxy. Understanding the importance of this. We're into the final 6 minutes of this first half. It would be a huge momentum swing if either team gets the goal. Sullivan waving his hand on the far post. Bernstein loops it there. The header from Pierre. It's cleared away, and it floats wide. Rocio with the second chance, and his shot's deflected. It was a critical touch for the LA Galaxy backline, and they stay level.
We mentioned it. It's not the first initial action. It's the second wave as Harrington is at the top of that 6-yard box as Kike that comes across. Last-ditch defending effort, but it's a spectacular header back across from Pierre. And if you are a Union player, you have to get on your bike and have that secondary action just to get the reaction to get on the end of it.
Bernstein's cross served in low. It was Mateo Tsikiris with the first clearance, as this one's floated in and taken cleanly by Pratt. But desperation defending for the LA Galaxy there on the set piece, and they remain level in this championship match. Saidi comes back to pick that one up. Sullivan gonna link up with Bernstein now. Rocio, and it's past Pratt. Diego Rocio, a young man on fire. 5 goals in 3 matches. And for the second time in 24 hours, he puts his side ahead.
We just talked about it moments ago. When the ball gets by, you cannot turn off mentally. You cannot tune out. He ventures in between Gonzalez and Pepe. And watch the technical ability, the composure to let this thing come across in the way that he snaps down on the ball, keeps it underneath the crossbar. He hits it so clean. No chance for Pratt with the pace behind it. And the Union, they go up 1-0 in the 30th minute.
LA Galaxy had some emergency defending that they'd been called on over the last few minutes. And finally, Diego Rocio breaks through once again. He had lost his starting spot for the quarterfinals after not scoring in this tournament against Hajduk Split. He came off the bench. He scored 2 in that match. Both goals against Flamengo, and he does it once again. And he has now inserted himself into the Golden Boot conversation, as well as putting his team ahead.
Just the technical ability on that strike was impressive.
Big switch here from Dunbar.
It was impressive from Rocio to let that thing come across. The composure. There's so many times when young players, especially in that area, they want to swing for the fences. They want to just hit it hard. And doing that, their balance goes up, their shoulders go back, and it goes up and over the crossbar. The main thing is to get it on target. Give yourself a chance. And he's been the difference maker in back-to-back games for the Union.
We have to say the Galaxy staff frustrated. They felt like Saidi was offside at the start of that sequence of play. We're hearing from everything, all of the angles we're getting on all our replays, there's no definitive proof that that's true. Either way, the goal will stand, and we continue to play on here. Headed up in the sky, Bernstein, and a big save from Pratt. Bernstein got all of that one once again, And Owen Pratt steps up with the big save.
Once again, it's the Union, the secondary actions, the second balls that they're winning, more proactive. Really good technique from Bernstein as he tries to guide it into that far post, but even better save from Pratt.
Bernstein has shown his ball striking quality. He does it once again here on this corner kick. Floated to the far post. Harrington falls down. And Sullivan's shot goes off a defender and out for another corner kick. And Bernstein will make the long run across to take it. For the LA Galaxy right now, Ricky, feels like they just have to hang on till halftime.
Keep tuned in mentally. You cannot turn off and lose your individual marker. You can't get caught ball watching, especially with how dangerous the Union have been on second waves and second opportunities and set pieces.
Pierre on that near post, causing chaos. Tallest player on the field. Bernstein curls this one in, and no one's there on the far post once again. So for the Union, wasting set piece opportunities here with their miscommunication as we approach first half stoppage time. It'll be a minimum of 1 minute of stoppage time coming up from Stephanie McFarland as Arnold now under pressure to Gonzalez. Boots it upfield, Pierre heads it back. It'll be one of those where the Union won't want that halftime whistle and the Galaxy will be waiting for it. But Ricky, we've seen this Galaxy team, they've got quality, they've got answers. Feels like it's just a matter of getting in and getting that breath with their coaching staff.
Just need to settle things down. Over the last 5 to 10 minutes, it's been the Union putting a little bit more pressure on and have gone away from their football from the Galaxy that made them so dangerous at breaking the pressure. I do think that's going to be the principle of the halftime talk from Sean Shakiris.
Space here for Moreno. Can he rewrite the script right before that halftime whistle? He turns it over. Sullivan now to Saidi. Saidi slips it for Rocio, and the offside flag goes up.
It's a good line from the Galaxy, especially the two center backs, Pepe and Kike. They step off and catch Rocio offside about a yard. You just see the relationship starting to grow between Saidi and his running mate.
As Griffin heads that one back. We did see Adrian Alvarenga have the assist on the winner yesterday and in the start for the LA Galaxy. They've rotated their team heavily. It was 5 changes from the quarterfinal to the semifinal. Another 2 here today, so they've got options on the bench. Nathan Nava, who had the winning goal coming out of midfield against SKC. He's another option. Maybe could bring a little bit more attack into that midfield 3. They also have Christian Correas, who has scored a goal. So 7 substitutes available to the coaching staff. Halftime does not count as one of the 3 windows. Doesn't feel like a guarantee, but there are options for these 2 teams.
I'll not be surprised if the Galaxy bring in Alvarenga at half. A game that can play very direct in his movement. 1v1 can create that little bit of individual brilliance. That's maybe what's asking of the Galaxy to break down this Union.
This might be the final kick of this first half. Philly started on the front foot. The Galaxy found some real success in the middle third. A big opportunity for Mati Albert midway through the half. But it's the goal right now, 6 minutes ago from Diego Rocio, that has the Union ahead as we are ready to close out this first half. Bernstein to serve it in. Floated to the far post, headed up into the air. It'll go wide once again. And the Union will get another shot at this. Philadelphia doesn't want to waste any time here, as they're getting another opportunity to take this one. Rocio comes short. Back to Bernstein. Bernstein now plays it on the ground. It bounces through, up into the sky, and that's it. Ricky, we've been excited about this one all week, all day, and it has lived up in this first half.
Fantastic half of football from both of these sides. I do think if you're LA Galaxy, the message is going to break that initial pressure, whether it's playing central locations, taking the game away from Pierre, or also just changing the point of attack. Get Miller more involved, the outside back for the other side for the Union. Get that young man early and often, get him confident to start the second half and keep creating turnovers higher up the field with your pressure.
Everything still to play for these two sides. Just a 1-goal difference right now. It's the strike from Diego Rocio, but we've got a ton of time left. We've got your second half coming up in just a moment here on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV.
Dale pues, mamá ya, muévete más loco como solo tú lo sabes. Así es, con las manos en la cabeza, sacúdete, sacúdete, mira, sacúdete.
Premier Bracket Championship between Chicago Fire and Sporting Kansas City. And Colin Kaiser put a hat on a cape because of how many saves he had in the first half for Sporting Kansas City.
And it was save after save from Kaiser. He was standing on his head. He was keeping this game 0-0. But you have players on the attacking phase of the game that have the quality. Just watch the body movement from height. As the ball comes across, he leaves his feet, he gets his shoulder squared, back across where it came from, off to the corner. That's 1 goal for Chicago Fire. That's a win. And they're your U17 GA Cup Premier Champions at the Generation Adidas Cup.
Today, we crowned a champion on the campus of IMG Academy at the 2024 Generation Adidas Cup U15s. Valencia, Toulouse, and Mark makes it happen as he's done all tournament.
But it's the spacing before he gets on the ball. It's Santi who comes central, and it's Mark that breaks the line with his run. The way he just opens up his hips, so clean, so classy. 1-0 Valencia.
And then insurance always necessary in a final. Stepping up is Amadou. What a strike!
As Jay requires so much attention, he plays it right into the path of his number 9. There's information on it. He needs to hit it first time. Just ropes this thing in the top corner. That's 2 goals for Valencia, and more importantly, they are your U15 GA Cup champions.
Valencia victorious, the final 2-0 over Toulouse.
Miami and LAFC facing off in the final of the Premier Bracket at the Generation Adidas Cup. David Goss, Ricky Lopez has been with you, and Mateo Saha pops up with a beautiful opening goal.
Really well-worked goal for Inter Miami. Just watch as Pinter gets the second bite at the apple, but it's some movement from Saha to slash across the face of his individual marker, and it's a snap header over his left shoulder. No stopping that one.
A loaded LAFC squad with a ton of quality tried to find their way back in it, but they could not break through.
Discipline in the back for Inter Miami. The goalkeeper was terrific. The 2 center backs were terrific. A front performance from front to back for Inter Miami.
For Inter Miami, they close out the week in perfect fashion, and they win the Premier Bracket of the 2024 Generation Adidas Cup. MLS Season Pass on Apple TV coverage of the Generation Adidas Cup final here. David Goss and Ricky Lopez. That's been the LA Galaxy and the Philadelphia Union going toe-to-toe in this first half.
Really good run from Albert on the weak side, but Pierre does just enough to throw him off. And then it was all about the Philadelphia Union, asking questions, putting the ball in a dangerous area, trying to get those second waves. Good save from Pratt. Rocio, a player that had a brace last time out. He makes a difference. Just watch his movement. He peels off the blind side of Pipe and then makes no mistake about the finish. Low and hard gives you a chance. Too much pace for Pratt to deal with. Rocio, when a player, you need him to stand up. Big time goal scorer, 1-0 Union at halftime.
His 5th of the tournament, his 5th in the last 3 days. A huge moment for this Philadelphia Union team as we get the second half started. The Galaxy and their all-white kits going left to right on your screen. Philadelphia Union and their classic blue kits going right to left on your monitor. With 35 minutes to decide, the 2024 GA Cup champions. For the Galaxy, Owen Pratt in goal. Kike and Pepe, the center back pairing. Gustavo Gonzalez at left back. Harbor Miller at right back. The midfield three of the captain, Gabriel Arnold. Dylan Vanny, and the son of the head coach, Mateo Tsakiris. As now the Galaxy look to break. Ricky Moreno, and he cannot run that down. Moreno playing as the center forward with Mati Albert on the left and Adam Dunbar on the right. But Moreno's positioning has been interesting so far to you in this game.
And he's a player that wants to get involved in the build-up, but he's going to drop back, and what that's going to do is just going to compact the Galaxy, right? You want him to stay high. You want him to occupy DeHart and Pierre, so you have players like Arnold and Vanny to fill in the gaps and have those little passing lanes. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the number 10 plays a forward position for the remainder of this game.
The lone substitute here at halftime, Kellen LeBlanc on the ball for the Philadelphia Union. He comes on in place of Henry Bernstein. LeBlanc immediately getting involved. LeBlanc will join the diamond midfield behind Kevin Sullivan in front of Zach Mostradimos. Alongside Jameer Johnson, it's Gavin Atkinson in goal. Center back pairing of Neil Pierre and Gavin DeHart, you just talked about. Lennon Harrington at right back, Jordan Griffin at left back. The captain, Anis Saidi, at the forward position alongside Diego Rocio. Saidi, he's had a good tournament so far. A goal against Hajduk Split, a goal against Atlanta. He's been captain of the US U17 team. He was captain last year as his U15 Philadelphia team came up just short in the penalty kick shootout against Austin. And he's hoping to lead his team one more time. And hoping to get over that finish line here. Miller able to keep this in play. Miller cuts it back. Moreno lets it run, and Vanny's shot is through Atkinson's arms. And the Galaxy, out of the halftime whistle, have equalized.
The play that we just talked about, David Moreno, the spaces that he picks up, whether it's an essential location, but doesn't need a second invitation to peel out and run the channel. It's all about the composure, but give credit to Harbor Miller. He keeps this thing alive. He runs over the ball, and Vanny just enough. You put it on target, you give yourself a chance, but Atkins is going to want this one back. And watch the back line for the Union. They're retreating, so where's the space? It's a cutback. Clever little run over for Moreno. Maybe freezes this Union side, and it's off to the corner to celebrate as Vanny has tied this thing up at 1.
We've played 4 games today for 6 days on this field. It's not the easiest surface for a goalkeeper to play on. As you said, put it on frame and see what can happen. Harbor Miller has played higher and higher up the field as it's worn. This game's worn along for the Galaxy, and the Galaxy get their reward for what we both felt, Ricky, was an even first half.
Really interesting the way that this first half played out. You had the LA Galaxy that really found solutions throughout it, progressed in terms of their possession-based playing between lines, and then it was all about the Union trying to cause chaos, trying to force turnovers, trying to put pressure higher up the field. It sets up for a fascinating remainder of this second half to see who's going to look at adversity in its face and rise above it.
So the one change for the Union does not count as a window at halftime. No changes made by the Galaxy. And we are back on level terms. And it really feels like we're back at the start. We know what Philadelphia wants to do. We know what the Galaxy want to do. They've each had segments of this game who can solidify their control in this second half. Jim Curtin called Peter McDonald earlier today. He said the whole first team would be watching for the Union. Of course, their academy, a massive part of their squad. Kevin Sullivan's brother Quinn with the start yesterday, alongside 3 other homegrowns in the first team. As Griffin can't get to this one first, Dunbar's shot is saved. Albert with the second chance, another save, the tap in, and Dunbar puts the Galaxy ahead. Dunbar's second goal in back-to-back games.
The message from Sean Shakiris was an emotional one. Motivation to have belief that you can stay on this field and match the intensity of the Union. But you have to give credit to Albert. He does not give up on the play. He hits it extremely hard with pace, and Atkinson just feels it right in front of Dunbar. You hang around the barbershop long enough, David, you're going to get a haircut. Falls kindly to his lap. Easy finish for a player of that quality. Off to the corner. The Galaxy has stolen this show in the second half.
And a player in Adam Dunbar who struggled to get touches in the first half, struggled to get involved, misses his chance but stays engaged. The follow-up by Albert. And the Galaxy have turned this final on its head here. 2 goals in 5 minutes to open up the second half. And the Galaxy have put the Union in a spot they've not been in since the group stage, trailing from behind.
Let's take a look at the little celebration from Dunbar here. This little snake. Love the confidence from the youngster. Now it's going to be very interesting to see what the reaction looks like for this Philadelphia Union side.
Zaidi into the path of LeBlanc. LeBlanc now cuts it back. LeBlanc with the cross. Griffin crashing. It falls for the fullback. Griffin against Miller. Griffin able to turn around Miller. Griffin pulls it back. Sullivan lets it run, and it's cleared away by Vanny.
A little bit of confusion between Rocio and Sullivan. Who's going to go for it? If you are Sullivan, it's on your left foot. You have to be barking to let this thing run by you. A good response from the outside back Griffin to get byline and cut this ball back.
Rocio now holds this play up. Harrington, one-on-one against Albert. Harrington's cross comes in. First cross cut by Gonzalez, and now Gonzalez has it under his foot. Long ball towards Moreno, taken down by Pierre. Harrington, shoved from behind, and the foul will go against Dylan Vanny.
You need to be very careful now if you're the Galaxy. We've seen how dangerous Philadelphia Union can be on set pieces, especially with Pierre venturing forward. Big test in terms of the discipline, and you're looking for quality in terms of the service now for LeBlanc here.
LeBlanc taking over set piece responsibilities in place of Bernstein, who he checked in for, who carried the load in the first half. Pierre and Saidi will be the target once again. LeBlanc, the looping ball. He's able to pick up the second one. LeBlanc now surrounded by white shirts. Back to Sullivan. Sullivan rotated to Mastrodimos. Sullivan now with the early ball. Headed away. Johnson. Closed down. Johnson with the strike, and it's blocked. Pierre heads it back into the box. Galaxy, bodies everywhere, trying to keep the score line, and Johnson hits the post. Sullivan goes up for the header. Gonzalez scales through him and wins it. And we continue on.
What a fantastic strike this is from Jameer Johnson to create his own space. Is one of the most special things from an attacking player. He just dribbles through 3 LA Galaxy players and just gets denied by the upper 90.
Moreno turns it over to Mastrodimos. Sullivan now. Sullivan back to Pierre. Sullivan, Pierre, Saidi, they've been together for years now, playing from the U12 ranks all the way up for the Philadelphia Union. They've been the backbone of this successful group. They've gone internationally and won tournaments. Made it to the final of the GA Cup last year. This might be the last time they do it as a group at the youth ranks, as they all look to move into the professional setup. Pierre already playing in Next Pro. The rumors are the contract for Sullivan not far behind, as Johnson here cuts it back to Saidi. Pierre brings it down. Harrington, looping ball brought down by Tsakiris. Pierre all the way up to Johnson. Johnson not able to get it under control. But soccer tennis right now between these two teams as the Galaxy just trying to hold the fort, trying to get through that big 5 minutes coming out of that Dunbar goal that gave them the lead. Big switch. Griffin takes it away from Johnson, his teammate. Griffin's cross straight into the body of Miller. And now Miller will clear it, claims for handball. Johnson slips trying to turn. Clearance by Kike. Can Arnold put his foot on the ball now and help his team? As Dunbar not able to keep it under control.
No shouts for a handball here. Just watch the arms of Miller. Makes himself bigger. Denial of the ball getting across clear as day. If center referee misses that one, you feel hard done by if you are the Union.
Not in the box on that one, so that's the free kick there as this one rolls out for a goal kick. Harbor Miller, the MVP last year, the MLS Next Cup U17 final. That helped him get his name into the U.S. Youth National Team conversations. You can imagine he'd be a player as he moves up the ranks with his ability and possession at the fullback spot that the LA Galaxy would love to bring into their setup at the 2-team and the 1st team. The Galaxy preparing their first sub of the game. It looks like it's going to be Nathan Nava to come on. Nava, the winner against SKC in a start. Chance here for Johnson. 1v1 with Miller. Johnson cuts past the defender, clips it across. Kevin Sullivan with the equalizer. The young phenoms link up. Johnson with the assist, Sullivan with the finish. And a topsy-turvy final has another twist.
But give credit to Saidi. The spatial awareness, the understanding, the cleverness to go quick, and then you let Jameer Johnson do his thing. Running downhill, isolating his individual defender. Just watch the hips, watch the drop to the shoulder as he sends Miller down to have the composure. You can either be selfish and go on your end, or you give it to the star boy, which is Kevin Sullivan, sitting 6 yards, and he's never going to miss it. Fantastic team goal for the Union. 2-2, minute 49.
Johnson has done it all in this tournament. He had the assist on the second goal against Flamengo. He had 2 goals to help fix the goal differential in the match against Vancouver to get them out of the group. As that'll be all for Dylan Vanny and the goal scorer Adam Dunbar. First 2 subs of this game. Coming on is Adrian Alvarenga, who had the assist on the opening goal yesterday, and Nathan Nava, who had the winner 2 days ago here against SKC. These teams loaded with talent. We knew substitutes would be a factor. It seems silly to think that we have seen the last twist and turn of this match. This is what happens when you get iron against iron, best against best. Two teams that have never played each other as these specific groups on opposite sides of the country. This is what hosting these tournaments is all about. Being introduced to different styles, different competition. We have seen both these squads play to their identity in its purest form here at the youth ranks. Pepe going back towards his own goal, turns, he dribbles right by Sullivan. The center back showing off his footwork, and he sprays the ball out wide. Albert picks it up. He's got support from Nava. Nava now getting up to speed. Arnold cuts on Mastratimos, 6-on-6. And Philly now has to defend once again. Miller with space, and Miller's shot blocked off the body of DeHart. These teams putting everything out there. Miller, one-on-one against Johnson. This is where Miller prefers to be as he clips this ball in, and Harrington heads it away. I mentioned the selflessness of Johnson again, that he doesn't take the early shot, then he gets to the end line to clip it back, but no one would have said anything if he shot early. He knows he's got those runners. He knows he's got players that he can create for him.
It's a decision-making. First, it starts with side if you understand the space and beyond, to go quick, to catch the LA Galaxy sleeping. I mentioned it earlier, David. In these types of games, you cannot turn off mentally. You cannot turn off physically. 1 second, the margin of error is just so thin. And then Johnson, just so clever, starts on the left-hand side, dashes across. Composure, decision-making, right pace, right time, and it's 2-2.
Crowd has been engaged the entire match. Going to see how this one will end as we have Jordan Griffin down, getting helped out. Jameer Johnson, U.S. Youth National Team player himself. As we take a look at Johnson and what he was able to create.
Just quick from Sadie. And then a little drop of the shoulder. The composure as he knows that Miller's going to go down. And everyone in a Galaxy jersey, they're going to be retreating. They're in emergency defense. So where's the space? To pick up your head and to find your running mate, which is Kevin Sullivan. You put it on a platter for him. Player of that quality is not going to miss it. And you just see the emotion.
Sullivan hasn't done it himself over the course of this tournament. He hasn't been on the goal-scoring ranks. He's created, though. He had the assist to seal it against Hajduk Split. You see there, he's able to finish it off as Johnson plays provider, and it's part of the issue with this Union team is it's pick your poison at times, as Zach Greer getting ready to come on as a substitute in place of Griffin. That's a huge loss with the way Jordan Griffin has played this entire tournament, the left back spot.
He was really good, Griffin was. On both sides of the ball. Very decisive when he joined the attack and created an overload on this near side. Hopefully he's okay, the young man, because he has a special talent and bright future ahead of him.
So Greer, who's come off the bench in the bulk of games, comes on. It looks like it's going to be a total change here. So DeHart will go to left back. Harrington will go from right back to left center back. And Greer will come on at the right back spot. So 3 different rotations here as a domino effect from that injury to Griffin, who's been able to walk over on his own as Moreno gets some space. And it's straight into the body of Atkinson. And Moreno knows he got a really good look at that one. Sullivan here with some space to run. Kevin Sullivan cuts inside. And he cannot link up with the teammate. It's turned over to Kiris. And now the Galaxy are off and running. And Harrington holds the line under pressure from Ricky Moreno.
Do you think the movement from that man, Ricky Moreno, is going to play a massive factor for the 17+ that we have? A player that has shown different looks throughout this tournament. Not a true number 9. Likes to pop in and be part of the build-up, but also has the ability to spin and run the channels and stretch opposing back lines. So what does the service look like into him for the remainder of this game in the LA Galaxy?
Take a look at this one. Harrington just able to hold up as Moreno goes into the offside position. Saidi loses the first header. Harrington pops it back in. Popped up from Arnold. And the foul will go against Sullivan as Gonzalez shoved over from behind, and immediately Arnold launches it for Alvarenga. Mastrodimos wins the second ball, and it falls at the foot of Miller. Alvarenga, we saw his 1v1 ability in that game against San Jose. Off the bench now, hoping to bring a similar impact. Johnson throws it in quickly. Saidi's quick restart that led to that second goal for Philadelphia after the 1-2 punch from the Galaxy to open up this second half. Goal in the 38th and 40th minute, just 2 minutes apart to twist this final. Miller battling with Saidi. And the foul will go against Saidi from our center referee, Stephanie McFarland. DeHart with the header up the middle. Johnson now picks it up. Saidi pressuring Kike. Kike scoops it up the sideline. Alvarenga with defense on his back. He keeps possession. And now the Galaxy looking to play through it, but turned over to Pierre. Arnold steps forward. Arnold now charging forward, and Harrington wins it off his foot. These two teams coming at each other in waves, as flying forward is the center back Pepe, and he can't get on the end of his own pass.
Let's move it over from the right back position. Harrington has been really good. He catches Moreno offside, and this one he makes a vital step into that midfield to put out a fire. The versatility from the young man that he's shown has been very impressive.
Harrington started 2 games at right back, 1 game at center back, so has experience there, and he will play alongside Pierre most likely for the rest of this one. 35-minute half, 70-minute game. If tied, we would go to extra time as Sullivan picks this one up. Sullivan rounds the keeper. He puts it in, but the handball is called on Kevin Sullivan.
It's late, but it's a right call. The extension of the left arm from Kevin Sullivan gets him in trouble. Let's take a look at it here. As Gonzalez is coming up a bit too casual from the 2 LA Galaxy defenders, but just watch the left arm, catches it. Good call from our center referee.
Sullivan got the goal to equalize. It was Rocio's goal in the first half to give the Union the lead. As we continue to go back and forth here as the sun sets on Bradenton and this GA Cup tournament. Rocio now charging in. Lays it back for LeBlanc. Closed down by Nava. Curled in from Greer. Straight up in the air, Johnson tries to volley it. And it's simple into the arms of Pratt. Pepe now with some space, rolls it over to his center back partner, Kike. Now back to Pratt. Gonzalez here with space to play out. Over the top, and the run of Alvarenga is offside.
He's a player that we've been very impressed with his movement, how direct he can be. He's a bit overzealous, unable to loop his run to keep himself onside. You just see the difference for the LA Galaxy now, their decision-making, electing to play direct, not trying to play in between lines because the pressure's oncoming for the Union.
Atkinson floats this one up. The wind coming straight across the field. Mastrodimos goes flying in there, holding his right foot. We've seen him throw his body around all tournament. He picked up a yellow card for screaming about throw-in forced in our opening game against Atlas. Had to sit out the semifinal because of yellow card accumulation, and it's a lot of why the coaches like having him out there on the field. Fully committed to the team and to the project as this one's hoofed up into the sky. DeHart now coming back. He tries to head it towards Hackinson, and he's able to get it into the safe hands of the keeper. It's been a good response from Atkinson after the 2 goals that he let up early in this half. He's looked composed, especially off his line. You can see the fans hanging on the fence all around the field. A chance to see the 2 best teams go to battle. And Ricky, this game's been what we hoped for. These 2 teams deserving of their spot in this final.
As advertised. Right, when the final was set, we looked at each other and said, what's going to give? Something has to give. 2 different styles, 2 different mentalities. One thing that stays constant is the quality on the field. Yes, they go about it in different ways, but it's been a joy to be here 60 minutes in. 2-2, you can't ask for anything better.
A foul there against Nava. Mastrodemus down holding his right foot for the 2nd time in a row. Thought he was going to get a little help from a teammate to get picked up, but everyone focused on their own job now. The Union preparing their next substitute. It's going to be Matthias DePaula to come on, but first this free kick. Sullivan stonewalled by Mati Albert. Quick throw in to Johnson. Johnson keeps possession now. Sullivan closed down. He gets away. Sullivan with the early cross, cut out by Gonzalez. And now Gonzalez will pick it up. Trying to clear it away, but Greer retains possession, and then it will roll out. And we will get our substitute. Gavin DeHart coming off. As DePaula comes on, it will also be Peter Doran to come on in this stoppage as well. 2 substitutes here in this 2nd window. And that'll be it for Jameer Johnson. What a performance once again from Jameer Johnson. He has been one of the best players in this tournament.
Complete attacker, can beat you with pace, but also can link up and beat you through combination play. The reason why he's so highly touted the U.S. Youth International. Good shift from Jameer Johnson.
So DePaula will go on at left back in place of DeHart. We've seen DePaula, for the most part, start at right back. He's played a little bit of defensive midfielder as well. Doran, normally the deeper midfielder. So this might be a realignment, sitting alongside Mastrodemus. Or he might fill in as the side of that diamond. Doran, a screamer of a first-time shot to open up the scoring against Hajduk Split in that quarter-final match.
It's an interesting one for Peter McDonald. You have to think maybe Johnson was feeling something, because he was very confident throughout this match, taking players 1v1, created that 2nd goal.
Arnold trying to cut this one back. The other thing for this Philly team, of course, it's a lot of games in a short amount of time. Sullivan and Mastrodemus didn't play yesterday, so you have to think they maybe have the full game in them. As Sullivan now charges forward, still has that energy. Once again, confidently defended by the Galaxy back line. Doran gets his first touch off the bench. Now Harrington under pressure. Puts it up. Brought down by Pepe, now it's Sakiris. Mastrodemus turns it over straight to Arnold. And another aerial battle in this game. Doran, one-on-one against Miller. Doran all the way back to DePaula. DePaula floats the cross in, headed away by Pepe. And there are times where this game becomes a car crash, as you've called it, organized chaos. And the foul will go against Arnold, and that'll be a yellow card for the defensive midfielder.
exactly why Master Demos is in this game, to put out fires. The ground that he's able to cover in his defensive structure, which is this Union side. Watch the body movement. Puts himself between him, the player, and the ball. It's a kick out for Arnold that gets him in trouble. So now him and Pepe, the two players on a booking for the Galaxy.
It's DePaula, the substitute, standing over this one. It'll be his right-footed service to come in. We've got 5 minutes left to play in regulation here. DePaula clips it to the far post. Doran flicks it on. Pierre is there. And it's Owen Pratt with the diving save.
And once again, David, it's a second action. It's a second wave. The second ball that's been causing problems all afternoon for the Galaxy. Good little flick on from Doran. Easy save in the end from Pratt.
So 5 more minutes plus stoppage time. If we don't have a winner, we'll be headed to 10 minutes of extra time. If it still cannot be decided, we would go to a heartbreaking shootout for one of these two teams. As we've said over and over, clash of styles, which would break right now, it's been neither. We've seen large segments of excellence for both these clubs, and nothing has separated them over 65 minutes. Atkinson with the high punt straight up to midfield. The offside flag going up against Moreno, coming back to try and make a play on the ball. Normally at a point like this, Ricky, you start to say, who could step up? Who could have a big moment? But there's a laundry list of options with these two squads. Up to Greer. Greer heads it on. Gonzalez with the big clearance. Albert had the strong look in the first half on the breakaway. It was closed down by Pierre and saved by Atkinson. It's the only real good chance of that first half. Galaxy came flying into the attack in the second half as Moreno can't get by Pierre. Pierre may not be the best center back in this tournament. He may be the best player overall at this GA Cup.
How good has he been? The spatial awareness, the reading of the game, when to step off, when to drop off. I don't think I've seen him lose one individual battle, whether it's on the air, whether it's on the ground. Reason why so highly touted, so highly respected in the Union Academy.
We've seen some really good talent from across the world. John Book Motors, Sok Jin there, number 10, Korean U17 full international at the World Cup.
Good
He's been
step.
one of the most impressive as Master Demos steps forward here, gets it up to Rocio. Rocio now into the path of Saidi. Saidi into the box. Saidi looking for help, pulls it back. One-on-one here, he loops it to the far post. Gonzalez with the first header. It's only as far as the Union captain. Saidi maybe a little too patient that time. DePaula, one-on-one. He's able to poke it along to Doran. Moreno back to help defend. Doran puts it across the box. Zakirius with the clearance. Harrington now will shield it and he'll let it run out. Thrown in and knocked around. DePaula and Moreno getting into that one. What a clearance from Zakirius. Saidi brings it down. Intensity and quality of the highest order so far as Doran down behind the play. It'll be a minimum of 4 minutes of stoppage time here on the back end. Will it be a storybook ending for one of these two late on in this one, or are we headed to an extra 10 minutes? It's what this final deserves. Not enough to separate the clear two best sides here at this tournament. The Galaxy knocked off River Plate, a club that has won this tournament more than anyone else. A club that has brought Julian Alvarez and Enzo Fernandez to these shores to play for them at the U17 levels. Giovanni Simeone in the past. And the Galaxy saw them off. They beat their Cali Classico rival, San Jose, in the semis. They beat the Red Bulls and Orlando in the group stage to get here. Clearly deserving for Philadelphia. That has been a trip across the world over the course of these knockouts. The all-time winningest club in Korean history, John Book Hyundai Motors, in the round of 16. Youth development giants Hajduk Split in the quarterfinals. And the club that's given the world Julio Cesar, Adriano, and Vinicius, the giants of Brazil, Flamengo, in the semifinals. And over the course of 70 minutes, there has been no difference between the Galaxy and the Union. As Sullivan goes down behind the play, the Union trying to fly forward here. Clip to the far post, but it's too far over the head of LeBlanc.
It's a hard challenge from Gonzalez on having Sullivan. We'll take a look at it here. We'll see if there is any extension. It's a tough one.
Some physicality between these two sides. It's Miller throws it down the line. DePaula pops it up. A lull here. Galaxy, they've been against it for large stretches of the last 10 minutes, but they've shown already in this game it doesn't take much for them to find a breakthrough. Nava against Mastrodimos. Moreno now breaks into the box. Moreno now with the ball at his foot, and the save by Atkinson.
Twisting and turning Moreno, a very crafty player, so comfortable with the ball at his feet, the ability to change direction and change pace. He tags it well. Good save in the end from Atkinson, no spillage whatsoever.
Sekiris clumps flying through on that tackle. His older brother getting starts for the San Jose Earthquakes right now. His father, the head coach, as Kevin Sullivan goes down behind the play. The trainer will come over. He's holding the back of his left leg. But how good has Mateo Sekiris been once again here today in that Galaxy midfield? Maybe as good a midfield as we've seen in this tournament between him, Vanny, and Gabriel Arnold.
I was about to throw in Arnold as that as well. Take nothing away from what Vanny did when he was on the field. Just to work rate the rotations and the ability to cover ground and make life very difficult for opposing teams. Those three, you have to take your hat off. It's not an easy task going against this Philadelphia side with the intensity that they bring, the challenge, and the compact that they want to play with. It's been a tightly contested match between both of these very talented youth academies.
The Philadelphia Union do still have a window and 3 more substitutes they could make if they wanted to. Of course, you'd love to see a player like Sullivan stay on the field. At this point now, can you get over the line to extra time? Has to be the thought, Ricky, of can you survive and then figure it out in that stoppage where you have a little bit more time. As you see Kevin Sullivan back up and hoping to return. It is a long week for these young players. Only 60-minute games over the course of the tournament. But they are playing games every day through the group stage. And because of weather that pushed back, they had 2 off days. And then every day here for 4 straight days for these players into the final. Sullivan right now has the equalizing goal. He's back on the field. Sekiris first to that one. Now it falls for Sullivan. Gonzalez comes inside and clears it away. Alvarenga spinning on Harrington, and the foul will go against Harrington, and it will be a yellow card. for the Union defender. So a big set piece opportunity now for the Galaxy. This could be the final kick of regulation.
Just watch the arms all over Alvarenga, not letting him spin off and run it down to the channel. Harrington, who seems like he's dealing with a little bit of cramping as well, but he's been fantastic. Number 13 in a dark jersey.
Miller serves this one in, but it'll go over the crossbar. Atkinson drives this one out of his foot. Moreno up with the header. Sullivan now looking to continue to battle through, and you can see struggling a bit with the injury, and that is the whistle. We knew it would be close. We knew it would be tight. 70 minutes, not enough to decide the action. We'll be back with extra time here in the Generation Adidas Cup Final from Bradenton, Florida, in just a moment on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV.
Dale pues, mamá ya, muévete más loco, como solo tú lo sabes. Así es, con las manos en la cabeza, sacúdete, sacúdete, mira, sacúdete.
Championship matches are made for the biggest stars and the biggest names, and that's what we've had here today. It started in the first half with Diego Rocio with 5th goal of the tournament.
You get it yourself a little bit higher into a gray area, and you cause confusion. Fantastic technique as this ball's coming across your body. Just watch the way that he swipes down on it to keep it underneath the crossbar. But what's the reaction going to look like for the LA Galaxy after a really motivated speech from their head coach? It's an uh-oh moment for Atkinson. 1-1 off to the corner. Vanny equalizes.
Just 2 minutes later, Harbor Miller Harbor Miller with the assists on that first goal. Just 2 minutes later, it would be Adam Dunbar breaking through the lines.
But give credit to Albert. He stays on this thing, and he hits it extremely well. And there's spill it from Atkinson straight into the path of Dunbar. Easy finish of that player, that quality. 2-1, and you thought the LA Galaxy were going to hold on. But make no mistake about it, David. This Union side has so much talent, and they're so clever they can catch you sleeping. One mistake, first it's Saidi, then it's Johnson, and then it's Sullivan. Fantastic goal from front to back for the Union to draw even 2-2.
We're ready to continue on here into extra time. 10 minutes of extra time, 2 5-minute halves. The LA Galaxy in all white going right to left on your screen. The Philadelphia Union lined up for kickoff, and the dark blue kits going left to right on your monitors. 10 minutes or a shootout to decide the 2024 GA Cup champion. One change at halftime. Nehan Hassan comes on. So not halftime, at the break. He comes on in place of Lennon Harrington for this Philadelphia Union side. So Greer steps in to center back alongside Neil Pierre. Zach Mostradimos will fill in at right back. And Teus DePaula, who came in as a substitute, will continue at left back as Pierre shields this one to the side. All of that in front of Gavin Atkinson. That means Peter Doran will slide into the number 6. Hassan and LeBlanc, the 2 shuttlers behind Kevin Sullivan. And this man, Anis Saidi, the captain, the leader from the front alongside Diego Rocio for this Philadelphia Union side. Rocio picks it up over to Sullivan. Greer now steps forward, straight into the arms of Owen Pratt. Pratt behind Kike and Pepe as the 2 center backs. Gustavo Gonzalez at left back. Harbor Miller at right back. Gabriel Arnold, the center mid, alongside Mateo Tsikiris and Nathan Nava. The front line attacking of Matisse Albert, Ricky Moreno, and Adrian Alvarenga. Just 2 changes throughout this game for a Galaxy team that has used their depth as an advantage the entire tournament. DePaula can keep that one in play. It was 2 goals in 5 minutes out of the halftime break for the Galaxy. Love to do something similar here in this extra time. Ball squirts it to the middle. Opportunity. And Nava just wide of that far post.
We saw him score a goal very similar earlier in this tournament as he advances himself from a midfield position. One of the hardest runs to track. Middle of your screen, he just wants it more. Beats his individual mark and just pulls it. But good action from the sub, Nava.
Nava, the winner against SKC. Alvarenga putting that ball in. He had the assist on the winner against San Jose. Tsikiris brings it down. Tsikiris, one of a number of youth national team players in these 2 sides. A number of these players experienced playing together, traveling overseas together. Gonzalez here. Up, Mastrodimos can't get there. He gets a piece of Albert. Mastrodimos looked like he might get away, but he does not with a yellow card. He picked up 3 in 5 matches to get suspended for the semifinal. Just good form to pick one up here as well, just to keep your record. Mastrodimos, he's been everything though for this Philly team in midfield.
He's a heart rate. He's a heartbeat, excuse me. Will never shy away from a challenge.
He's been so good that to compensate for him, they dropped 2 players into his position. So in the last game, Peter McDonald shifted the formation, played Bernstein and Doran side by side behind the 2 attackers, just to try and cover the ground that Mastrodimos has covered over the course of this tournament.
And also the versatility. We've seen him play now as a right back, as Dorans has that single pivot. really been impressed with Master Demos, not only on the defensive side of the ball, but how tidy he is in possession, the ability to connect passes.
Albert able to get this into the feet of Nava. Nava was trying to return it for the run of Albert, miscommunication, and it rolls out over the sideline. So from our understanding, the substitute for Nayan Hassan during the break into extra time counts as a window. That is the third window for the Philadelphia Union. So we saw Kevin Sullivan, dealing with a little bit of an injury late in that half. He will have to continue, as will all these Union players. There'll be no stoppage to this opening 5 minutes of extra time. Just the one chance for Nava so far. Arnold pulling the strings. Albert bounces past the first defender, turns it over to Doran, and Hassan not able to keep play, and that will be it in this opening half from Stephanie McFarland. A little water and these teams will swap sides. Ricky, what can we expect for this final 5 minutes?
I think a lot what we just saw. I do think the message for Sean Shakiris and Peter McDonald, do the simple things right. Connect your passes. Do not lose any of your individual marks. Do not lose any of your responsibilities, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It's not time to try to overcomplicate things or play it into a traffic area. If there's any risk, first reward, you clear your lines. You put the ball higher. You gain some real estate. If you have an opportunity to be that special player, you take it. What an opportunity this is for these young men to produce that little bit of individual brilliance moment, because you know the talent is there. So who can believe in it?
This tournament's been built up for over a decade, started originally by Alfonso Mondello, brought to another level by Fred Lipka, who we'll see help give away the trophies. It was only MLS clubs for a while. It was an MLS championship, and then the idea to bring in international teams to see as a benchmark of where MLS sides stood and to challenge players, young players at the highest level, and it has grown and grown. We've added our broadcast, we've added digital coverage, social coverage. It has been a blast over the course of this week as we are now on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. A spectacle maybe we couldn't have ever imagined at the youth ranks years ago when Jim Curtin was winning this tournament as a head coach of the Philadelphia Union. And now in front of a crowd on pristine fields at IMG Academy, and here broadcasting globally on MLS Season Pass. We kick off the final 5 minutes of the Generation Adidas Cup 2024 edition. LA and Philly, they've gone toe-to-toe. Two deserving champions. There can only be one lifting that trophy and putting their name on the final piece of that bracket you saw just a moment ago. Miller's already got an assist in this one. Up to Moreno, who's in an offside spot. The Union supporters in full voice cheering their teammates on. We mentioned it at the top. This group of Philly players, for the most part, were in the U17 final last year against Austin and fell in a shootout. Their older teammates won the U17 against FC Dallas. As those groups moved up in age, this squad, for the most part, playing up 1 year, want to see the job off with the Galaxy. Look, every bit a deserving champion as well. Sullivan back to Pierre. Pierre, long ball looking for LeBlanc. LeBlanc and Miller meet, and the foul goes against Miller. A big opportunity coming here for Philly.
Not what you want if you're the LA Galaxy, to give the ability for the Union just to whip this ball in a dangerous area. You're bringing Greer on the field as well. That gives you another big body to play off of, as he's going to pick Pierre. Watch for either the looping run from the big center back or slashing across that near post. And it's always the second phase that's been the dangerous part for the Philadelphia Union.
DePaula's right foot, LeBlanc's left foot over this one. All 11 back to defend for LA. DePaula floats it in. Bodies falling down and cleared away by the Galaxy. Master Demos comes over to win it back. Sends it to Atkinson. Albert putting the pressure on, and the Philly goalkeeper will blast it long. First header won by Kike. DePaula keeps it in play. It bounces in front of Kike. Sullivan scoops it up. Saidi now looking for the back heel to his teammate, and the foul will go against him, closing down Miller.
Miller has been terrific, the right back for the Galaxy. We've seen how important he's been throughout this whole tournament. But very sturdy in his defensive responsibilities. And also provides an outlet going higher up the field.
Galaxy rotated around. 2 minutes of regular time left to play, and any stoppage added to that. Alvarenga now in a foot race with Greer. Greer trying to shield it out, and he's able to get it over. About 8 yards of shielding there for the substitute, Zach Greer. Philadelphia waves all their players forward. There might be one more look in this one for one of these two teams. Hasn't been a whole lot of openings in this extra time. Sullivan looking for the big switch. There's no one there to receive it, though, for his team. Evan Sullivan with the equalizer right now. Rocio with the opener. It was Dunbar alongside Vanny, the goal scoring for this Galaxy side. Greer coming over. DePaula keeps it in play. DePaula now. And he gets the foul in his favor, getting pushed from behind. The Union have built themselves into one of the best youth developers in MLS. 3 homegrown starting this weekend in Major League Soccer. They won the U17 GA Cup last year. Perennial contenders across all competitions. The Galaxy reset things, finding success once again. This would be a cherry on top for either club to be able to maintain their dominance of state. They are the class of the youth ranks here in Major League Soccer. DePaula brings it down. Rocio not able to shield off Miller. Hassan wins it back now. Rocio once again. Rocio back to DePaula. DePaula turns it over. Doran will clean up the mess. Greer slides it across for Pierre. We are into extra time, stoppage time. Pierre floats it up. It falls for DePaula. The big cross. Sullivan challenging all the way across to Hassan. Hassan now gets to the end line, clipped across, headed up by Gonzalez. Sullivan with the header and cleared by Kike. The strike through the bodies, and it'll go just wide from Saidi, and that will be the final touch of regulation. Not a shocker.